There we go. There we go. Now we're talking, right? I got the thing running, the thing with the stuff with the things. It's right over here, right? We got that? Is it going? There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is March 7th, 2024. And we're going to write a little bit of code today. It's Minimal March. This is a month where I observe, I celebrate, I take the pain. I work exclusively at the command line, working with .NET. We're going to be on Linux today. I've got Tmux running. We're going to be working in Vim. We're going to be doing all the things strictly at the command line on Linux. It's going to be a fantastic stream. And we're going to be building with Blazor as well. I've got some coffee on board. It has been a long morning, friends. Oh. My daughter, I've mentioned before, is in the Penn State Band. She departed this morning for Minneapolis for the Big Ten women's basketball tournament. And I had to get her to the airport. And I wasn't taking her to the Philadelphia airport that's only a half an hour down the road. No, that would be too easy. And I wasn't taking her back to school to depart with the band from State College, a 3-hour drive away. That'd be a little much. Because they don't fly out of school. They then drive somewhere from there to get a plane and fly out. They were gonna bus 3 hours south to Baltimore and fly out of Baltimore. So the school requested that I drive her back to school so they can bus her south. So 3 hours and then 3 hours more. That would have been 6 hours in the car and then 2 hours on a plane to Minneapolis. 8 hours total travel. That's a lot. So I drove her this morning at 2 in the morning. We'd left. Drove her to Baltimore. My Philadelphia friends would call it Baltimore. And dropped her off, said goodbye, big hugs, and off she went with the band. And I made the 2-hour drive back at 4 in the morning. Got home, went right back to bed. That's why I'm a little bit late here. I had some things to configure, get set up so that we had the Linux machine all set to go, all plugged in, dialed up, and at nice, good resolution so that we can have some fun. I'm looking forward to this. Let me say hello to the chat room there, right over there. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Dial in. Let us know what you're doing, how things are going over here. Let me say hello to everybody that's over here. How you doing there? Napalm Codes with a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello. JavaCraft, how's it going there? Greetings, welcome. No, they did not axe the Prime benefit. They moved it around a little bit, but there is word that the Prime benefits on Twitch will be will not be much longer for the platform. So thank you so much for the resub. 22 months with us. And I'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. Failed to connect. Good morning to you. Hello. Once on Twitch, you visited C# Fritz's channel, and it was awesome. Yeah, only once. Only once Thindoll visited, and it was awesome. The rest of the time, crap. Absolutely garbage. Crap. Yeah, it's just awful. And folks scream about it all the time. The Whiterun guard who took an arrow to the knee. I don't know that reference. How you doing there, Wise Otter? Folks don't use some of there's a bunch of emotes that folks don't use very much. The hats is one of them there. And yes, I have my classic Nintendo controller there on. It's actually like, it's almost like vinyl, the patch on the hat, this hat. It's kind of nice. The VOD for the talk where I was calling you a late fool should just sit down us up on YouTube. I don't remember that one. How you doing there? Jean Valjean, that's coder 24601. McNets, Mikey, man, hello. Yes, I did make it home. Oh, that was a drive. A JavaCraft asking, when will the next C# in the Cards episode be out? I'm behind on writing and getting that delivered. I started writing it yesterday. It was my father's 74th birthday yesterday. We had a nice dinner for him last night, and like I said, I took my daughter off to the airport. At the earliest, it'll be tomorrow. Will be the next episode, but I need to get back on the saddle and delivering and pushing that. So Robert Steffen, hello to you. I called you out when it arrived late. Ah, yes. Yes. Happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday to my dad. 74. He was telling people he was 75 already. Like, Dad, like, that's awesome to get to 75. You're not there yet. Hey, Chris Jones. So I've got a bunch of coffee to drink here today because, we need to catch up. I'm gonna get some music playing here in the background. Let me get the Spotify open. Spotify for, here we go. Stream Beats. I'm gonna go with the EDM playlist today. I feel like something a little bit more upbeat, a little bit full speed. Did I see Fluffy Kitten Cuddles? We could start with that. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Use it wherever you'd like. Twitch, YouTube, doesn't matter. Lots of great music available for you in all kinds of genres at streambeats.com, as well as Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for making this music that we're listening to today. Is it like a 4-year-old when they proudly tell you that they're almost 5? It's like a 74-year-old. Hey, Badger. So what I'm saying is I need some Java. All right. Fine. I need some Java. Swag idea for the .NET Foundation. Partner with one of the independent coffee producers on the internet and produce C# coffee. For when you need a pick-me-up but you don't want Java, have C# coffee. See, that would just work. That would work, wouldn't it? How you doing there, Manoj? Good to see you. eJavaCraft says, as someone who's been developing with Spring Boot, been learning Blazor, really love it. It's definitely much easier. That's fantastic. I love hearing that. With respect, I'm going to grab a clip because that's something that our teams like to hear, and I want to make sure that those folks are happy and are encouraged. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. Jean Valjean would be in. I don't know if it's the internet connection, but the stream is like it dubbed in from Chinese. I don't think so. I'm coordinated, right? I'm in sync here, right? What do you think? Chat room, how's my audio sync? Does it 1, 2, 3, 4? Does it look like my audio is synchronized? Sync is good. Yeah, try to refresh there, Robert Steffen. See if that'll help. All right. Let me get my gunners on here. What the heck? What the heck? There's like every now and again, even though this has been sitting inside my case and inside of a dust cloth, still looks like it's all smudged up. You know, I mean, these glasses they are a plastic, and they do pick up the body, the natural grease that we have on our bodies picks them up real easy. I was talking to the folks at Gunner, and when you see the reflection on my eyes, That's actually the blue light being reflected away from coming in, is what they tell me. Um, it's interesting. That's very interesting to hear, and to understand more about, because folks have said that reflection, that glare that you get off the glasses, can be a little annoying. Um, so there we go. We're working on Tags app. Let me head over. We're going to be working on and using the Kubuntu Focus laptop. Let me head over to that machine. We can start talking here a little bit. Ah, look at that. You love a command line first thing in the morning. I've got TMux running. You can see my little TMux bar down there at the bottom, because we're going to split this screen a couple different ways from Sunday and start loading up and doing a bunch of different things here at the command line. I'm all Bluetooth connected over to that device. So let me get Firefox open here, and sure, we'll start with the GitHub, of course. No, Fritz and Friends, Tags app. There was some discussion, some chatter yesterday. I want to make sure that I answer some of those questions before we go too much further into things here. There's a second pull request. Minor DOM fixes. Yes. We're going to talk about this one. And yeah, we're going to dive into a couple things. Yesterday we did our C# with C# Fritz live stream over on the Microsoft channels, Twitch TV/Visual Studio, YouTube.com/.net. And we were having, I was having a real good time teaching and showing the Blazing Pizza Workshop. It's been updated with .NET 8. See, this is, I've got to do things for the work job first. I've got the content for that I'm bringing over, updating, and having walkthroughs on that, and updating it so it's a little bit more, a little bit faster to go through, quite frankly. The first couple of modules are like, we're going to do one thing, and it's kind of annoying. It's kind of frustrating. So I'm reorganizing them a little bit, and I want to put some of that great discussion we had yesterday about the different render modes, going from static server rendering to interactive WebAssembly, and how you see and need that change, and how to make that decision. That is being updated and added to that repository. I loved the feedback yesterday at the end of that stream. Folks were really, really excited, really happy with how that went. It felt so good to get that kind of feedback yesterday. Thank you. But I also got feedback from folks. Hey, you know what? Nobody builds a pizza shop. Nobody builds a storefront. We'd like something a little bit more advanced for a Blazor demo. Is Tags app more advanced enough? And I actually got it from some people. No, we want to see you build an ERP. Like, no, sorry. There's huge commercial systems that do that. No. But Tags app is going to have that type of distributed architecture with a service bus eventually, and these other things that if we did bi-weekly update videos to show here's the progress, and I do have a little bit of a backlog then there that I have to go through, it'll start to show here's how this is built, write some blog posts to go with those videos, and I think that can be a compelling educational experience, not necessarily learning, but educational. Look at these different things. That's right. Let's write SAP in Blazor. Looks like the restream bot isn't getting all the messages back and forth here on YouTube. How you doing there, Thomas? Badger says Java Spring made me hate web development. Out of all the frameworks languages I've come across, C# and Blazor reign supreme. Thank you. That's very kind. The thing that the team does when they look at and when they design and they think about building web frameworks for .NET and they get in and they look at Blazor, there's a bit of experimentation that's done. Does this fit the way that we want to make developers more productive? Does this go in that direction and do interesting things? Provide unique value. And that's where Blazor and the WebAssembly features came in. eJavaCraft on Twitch asks, do I recommend Visual Studio Code for Blazor development or Visual Studio? For Blazor, I would lean into Visual Studio because the Razor template editor in Visual Studio Code isn't quite as... Both of them are it's supposed to be the same in both. It isn't. They perform differently. The one in Visual Studio is a little bit more complete and a little bit better at picking up and showing content. Alu the Crow, yes, this Sombra UI looks like GitHub. Yes, it does. This is GitHub. So, we got a pull request. I think that I don't want to give away names here, but a couple of fixes here. You agree? Badger on YouTube says they'd agree that Tags app could be a good educational app. Yeah. So I think there's a learning experience that we can talk about here that's educational, not necessarily teaching, but something that folks can jump in and learn from. Hey there, Warm Peas. Hello. I'm not sure why the Restream bot. It's definitely copying messages over to YouTube, but the YouTube messages aren't coming over to Twitch. Thank you to all of our friends that are watching on YouTube. I do see how many people are watching on both platforms, and it's good to see that more folks are picking up and watching on YouTube. I'm definitely trying to improve that. Thank you. I appreciate the follow. I'm not quite sure, but thank you. Hey there, Zsoft. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Wishing me a nice day on YouTube. So there's a couple of fixes, a couple of updates in here to clean up some of the pages. And I mentioned in my reply here, the CSHTML pages are in the old, the legacy web application that was page focused. So I'll take those changes, but we don't really need them. We're missing a closing tag on this div. That should never work if that's on Waterfall Razor. That should never work. That's weird. But okay, yeah, you're right. Where that extra quote came from, but yeah, that's a nice cleanup, but it's in these two files we don't use. Neither do we use the overlay anymore. But definitely this one here, Waterfall Razor, that's interesting right there. That one shouldn't be. I'm tinkering with my speed, my sensitivity settings here on the mouse. I think that's better. I need it just there we go. But I'll definitely take the update for Waterfall Razor and ignore JetBrains local settings. Sure. Right? This is a fine set of changes. And I mentioned, yeah, that we'll review and merge, and I'm okay with that. So go ahead, approve and run the changes. We can get that merged in. So that will build out here in the background. Don't need a second one of those. So there it goes building. And in a couple minutes, we'll have the build complete, and we'll be able to see that everything still works, and we're able to move on and get back into our development. Now, there's absolutely folks that are trying to get this running locally, It should have picked that up because I was looking right at the camera. Yeah, that's right. That was the right one. So I think I want to wrench on some of and tweak and work on some of those startup questions and interactions that folks have as they want to start Tags app. Our queue feature is pretty well along today, from the features that we did on Tuesday. So I'd like to wrench on the some of those startup capabilities. What happens when you start? And yeah, I'm going to need a little bit better startup experience to help with the instrumentation. Yes. And right, there's probably some configuration that's going to go along with that if you are running in a non-standalone in a non standalone application, you're going to want to um, move things, right? You're going to want to no, I didn't. I wanted in here. I want no. I'm in my browser. Yes, in the browser. Maximize that. Over here, function page down, and you're not paging down. I don't understand. Good. It finished building. I'm ready to merge that. That's fine with me. So I'll jump back over here. Go ahead, squash and merge. Minor DOM fixes. This is issue 392. Right, so no, it's that's the pull request number. Yeah, we're good with that. Confirm and and merged in. Thanks so much for the contribution. Really appreciate. Thank you for the help identifying those markup issues. Changes merged. There we go. All right. This is an open source project. Anybody can go out there and contribute. Anybody can pull down the source code, contribute, fork it, do whatever you'd like with it. It'd be nice if we worked together on these things. So, eJavaCraft asks, "What are my thoughts on Copilot? Is it worth investing in?" Yes, yes, it is. Dial it up. Especially if you're using Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio JetBrains Rider has support for it also. Yes, it will help you significantly. So, I absolutely would encourage you to get Copilot, not just because my company offers it as a service, but it will show you features, capabilities, generate code for you that we're not going to get as we're working in Vim today, that are going to make you so much more productive. DGen1 comments, should the startup process also have forms for adding auth through Google, GitHub, Microsoft? That's not a bad idea. Let's put that as a let's create that as an issue, because I think we absolutely could deliver that, and I don't want to focus and get into that where there's other things that I think we can do to give a much better startup experience, particularly for developers right now. For a developer that's starting and setting up the application, the local login and maintenance with a in database provider, it's fine. That's good enough for a developer usage. Setting up the OAuth providers, I think, is a step a step towards allowing folks to be able to host and deliver manage their own hosted versions of TagsApp. Can push that a little bit further down the line, because if somebody does want to set that up, it's actually pretty easy to do if you know how to do .NET development. Even then, you got to write some code to do it. Let's put an issue out there for it. Yeah, let me. I guess that's all right. Add admin screens process for adding common OAuth providers. Administrators and users configuring an instance of TagsApp should be able to configure several OAuth services. Is it OAuth or OpenID? From the admin screen. I had a couple different keyboards that I was going to use for today. From the admin screen, yeah. Initial services should include Microsoft, GitHub, Google. Yeah, that's enough for now. And this isn't so much a bug, but an enhancement. Sure, if somebody wants to try to write some of that, they can. But milestones are completely off the chart. We haven't completed Meta milestone in a while, and we're kind of distracted with a couple different things here. And getting some of these just getting started experiences. Yeah, I ran over my microphone wire. Getting some of these getting started experiences hammered out is going to allow us to move into the next phase, where we're going to take the Blazor application and stuff it into a Maui hybrid application, so that streamers, other folks, can run this locally and manage their streams like we did yesterday, right? Yesterday on the Visual Studio channel on Twitch, .NET channel on YouTube, it was phenomenal to use TagsApp to triage questions that were coming in. And I really felt where the queue feature we've been building would plug in nicely. I really felt that. I also felt the need for pause to be a little bit more aggressive in stopping messages from appearing on the screen. So yeah, Copilot, do it. It's gonna it is gonna need some training. It's gonna be a little professional consultant. It's gonna give you a little bit of practice.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice, but we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
Yeah, practice. It's going to give you some practice at building some of your user interface and things better. You get nonsensical suggestions on occasion? On occasion. Yeah. Sure. It happens. So, you have it at work, but you wish there was a more casual user tier. Unfortunately, it's really expensive to run Copilot. So the fee reflects that. So simple stuff like recognizing that I'm writing to a private public property combo, completing the pattern without being prompted. I find, Evan, Copilot will suggest things and and APIs that I don't have in my application. And I look at that and I'm like, you're wasting my time now. It suggests the right method based on return type. Yes. And I struggle sometimes because Copilot will interfere with IntelliSense. And that that conflict is a pain in the neck to resolve. The conversational stuff is really good. It is. eJavaCraft asks, is it possible to include Facebook Meta integration? Yes. There are some challenges with Tags app to integrate with Facebook and any of the Meta services. Facebook, not Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. That's the one. That's the gram I was thinking of. They have an extensive vetting process for you to get API keys to interact with their services. Not great for anybody that wants to do something here. Badger on YouTube asks, as a system, should the first user who logs in on a fresh instance be considered an admin? That's already done. That's already, yep, you're absolutely right. Already done. I think there's also an option that we should allow a userless system where you don't have to log in. There is no authentication. And you can turn that on. By default, then you, the user, anybody that's on the system is an administrator. You have moderator access. You have access to all the things. You love GitHub Copilot for work. You just don't have a ton of... I don't do a ton of hobbyist stuff unless it's for me. Oh, that's very kind. There are ways that GitHub does give out access to advanced features for open source projects and contributors. I'm not entirely familiar with that, but it is a thing. Yes, it does interfere with IntelliSense. Yeah, I know, Evan, and that's something that the Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code teams are juggling and trying to figure out the best way to deal with. So, it has gotten a bit faster. You're right, Thindall. And over the almost 2 years we've had Copilot, it just gets better. Popped in to say hello. We're going to break from your GCP certification class. Good luck, Evan. Thanks so much for tuning in. Copilot has done so much work for you, says Alu. Yeah. Okay. So logging in with Facebook is absolutely something that can be considered here. Perhaps Facebook and Twitter logins can be considered in the first pass as well. Oh my gosh, Evan with the resub.
Just resubscribed for 9 months.
Thank you so much. 9 months, and I'll make another contribution to the American Cancer Society. Much appreciated. So where was I? All right, so there's an update about that. And that's been merged in. Is that on the main branch? Yes, that is on the main branch that it merged in. Yep. So, let me jump over. Oh, yes, here we go. Right. So I can pull the upstream main, and I'll get those changes, and I can push that into my local, my forked repository main branch. There we go. That's nice there. That is zoomed too far? How's that? How does that look? Is that font too much? Is it breaking up there? In the preview that I have here on screen, in OBS, it looks a little off. Yeah, that's not bad. Copilot taught you some stuff like concurrent lock pattern with blob storage and Azure functions. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Looks good, says DGen1. All right. What branches do I have here? Yeah, let me. Hang on. What are my remote branches? Yeah, fix first start. So let me jump over to that branch. Fix first start. Pull that. Oh, good. I'm going to split my terminal here. Oh, tartar sauce. Here we go, running into. Well, Fritz doesn't know this keyboard as well as he thinks he does. Right? Am I in here? There we go. So I'll do commands to set up and interact here. Let me also set up another screen here, and I'm going to be working in Vim on this page, on this tab. So here we go. Hey, I don't have a today command set up. It's usually project, but I don't have one. Yeah, we're working at the command line. It's going to be all Vim. Building and working here. So if I jump back over here, and if I go here, I'm going to jump into my source, Blazor folder. Now, I don't have Docker and my database running here. And I don't have the local. So we're going to run into a little bit of a SQLite issue here. Yes, we will be using C#. That's right. Yep. This looks like an extended terminal. Please remove all quality of life tools. Actually, we are.
Inconceivable!
No, really, we are. Because we're going to show how you can do all of this live at the command line. So let's do a .NET watch here so that we just have the website building, restarting, doing its thing right here at the command line. You have widescreen, looks fine. Okay, cool. You kind of agree? It's kind of the point of this month is to show off some of this. And we're going to get onto the Chromebook later. Oh, yes, we will get onto the Chromebook. We added some of these features previously where it detects, hey, I've got a configuration to connect to a Postgres database at this location. So normally on this system, I have it connecting to a Docker container that listens on port 5432. So let's get this connected instead to a SQLite database, and it generates a little command connection string for me. Good. And when I submit to connect through, right, and this should be a nice experience to get folks started. Now, this is the user interface that's provided when it needs to restart and reconnect. So I am an admin named Fu Magoo. Am I? Show me. Here we go. This is. Let's see Fritz's Linux and Vim capabilities here. So there's the database. You see the SQLite database is right there that it's using, right? 122K. That's a pretty good size right there, isn't it? I digress. I want to take a look at that main page, that home page. This is where, oh gosh. And here, home. That's where I want to be. Components, pages, home. Here we go. There is no syntax highlighting for Razor. Yeah, grep foo magoo. Actually, it's right there. Okay. So, there we go. I do remember how to use nerd tree here. So let's go back into program. Or is it where it sets up single user mode? Configuration, app configuration, load configuration. Modal config. What's modal config? Modal configuration. I don't know what that is. Grep fumago. Yeah, maybe. This can probably be commented. Notice the C# code is syntax highlighted. Oh, there was a question about forwarded headers and the ports that Tags app listens on. When I run, so it does the container for ASP.NET doesn't run on port 80. It runs on port 8080 by default. And I forget what the SSL port is. So if you want it to host and deliver on that port, you need to remap it when you deploy to app service, right? So portal Azure com. Right, so I'll show you with the NFL sample. Right, here it is. So I should probably copy some of this documentation create this as documentation. So there is a configuration entry here for the HTTP ports, and it forces by passing that in, it forces the port to listen on 80. So you have to force that to happen. And that was actually a security thing, so that when you start up a container, it isn't automatically listening on the web port that everybody's looking for. There was some definition of that. .NET blog, ASP.NET Core, container, port 8080. Yeah, here we go. The default ASP.NET Core port for .NET container images has been updated from 80 to 8080. And we've added the ASP.NET Core HTTP ports environment variable as a simpler alternative to ASP.NET Core URLs so that you can reroute the port. So it'll switch to a default URL of localhost 5000 rather than *80 as formerly. Prior to .NET 8, if you could run a container expecting port 80 to be the default port and able to access the running app. So if you want to run it locally at port 8000, you would run and you would do the port mapping here, 8000 to 80 internal. Since it's now 8080 internally, instead of going 8080, you specify 8080 when you run at the command line like this, and it just passes through. The reason for change, there you go. The reason for the port number was made because of a need to provide a good usability experience when switching to a non-root user. Port 80 is a privileged port. Right there. So there was some discussion, some questions about that. So real easy to, inside app service or whatever hosting provider you're using, specify that port's location, and it will automatically host it there instead. And that's what I do right there for app service. And then there is an SSL certificate in front of this. So that was the question and the reason for this. So let me copy that, and let's add that somewhere in the documentation here. I should update current status here. And there is a doc folder here. Building a local container, overriding default config. So let me just add an entry for this. I'm not going to go through and do any kind of rewrite. Does that mean you're running tags app with root user since it's running on 80? No. Well, no. My local instance is right, is running on 5125. When it's running in the container, right, the goal the team has is to have containers run as non-privileged users. If you want to remap it, you need to have that privilege to be able to remap it. So let's say I'm going to scroll down here. Testing, custom testing, ordering, no. Icons, where there was a Docker. There it is. Running on port 8080. The ASP.NET. Why didn't it? Net, thank you. Core images that tags app is based on. Run. No. Expose. I'm going to scroll that up just a bit so it's above my camera here. Expose port 8080 by default. You can remap this to port 80 in the container by passing in an environment variable. Where is it? More details in the ASP.NET core documentation, and we'll wrap that up. Right there we go. And where is it? The environment variable, ASP.NET core ports. With a value of 80. Cool. Well, that was easy. So now in the Docker section, running on port 80, and there's the information about it running on the alternate port. Added entry about, let's say, updated docs. Docker container port. So I think it was Badger was on Discord last night and asking about that. Yeah, commit directly to the main branch. That's okay. It's documentation. It's not going to rebuild. I see a couple comments here on Twitch and YouTube that I want to get back to. And it didn't copy across those messages from Badger on YouTube. That's frustrating. Space Shot says, what I like about Minimal March is that it shows how open and cross-platform .NET is. Yes. There are still many people who immediately say, oh, you need Visual Studio and Windows. That's expensive. I run into these people in the enterprise every day. Yes. Community Edition is available. There are licensing limitations around that, but Community Edition was released way back 2005-ish. You're right. Space Shot continues here. Visual Studio doesn't run on Linux. Visual Studio Code. Yeah, don't get rid of your tools, but showing that you can do this and be productive over here is really cool. You were thinking Windows in general, not necessarily focusing on cross-platform aspect. Yeah, right. Showing that you can do this. And also for folks that are learning. Hey, I'm working on a Chromebook. Hey, I'm working on wherever. You can be productive. You can do some really cool stuff live on Linux. We're going to do some code spaces work later in the month. Yeah. Does that answer the question from Pac-Man? But Badger says no. The app ID is something like 1654, not a root user. The idea of the user that Docker uses. Yeah. Oh boy. Somebody's got an Azure issue here that is pretty ugly. Yeah, there we go. All right. So a little bit of documentation update there. And we can move on from that. So, oh, look at all that. Handshake failed. That's a task was canceled. Really? Where? I think that's okay. So where did Fu Magoo come from? Darn it. No. Did I put it? Is it down in here? Oh, now I've got multiples. That was the wrong key. Darn it. Source, tags app, Blazor. Yeah, program. Yeah, recover. Thank you. Oh, because I didn't save that change. That's why. Where I commented out. Yeah, the console. There we go. And I was trying to go in here to services extensions. There we go. And there was somewhere add tags app security, add authentication, where we kind of defined a faux user. There we go. Add identity core, add authorization. Carl's promoting the. Yeah, that's all right. Carl's promoting the next episode of the Blazor Puzzle podcast. So there's a bunch of messages that I'm getting that are going out on the various platforms. The next episode is actually it's an interesting one that's going to show something that I may have run into working with this application in the past. So, how you doing there, GSU Gambit? That's right. Minimal March is upon us. So I don't think I put it in here. No. So it's got to be somewhere in program. Yeah, I know it exists. Delete it. Right. Yeah, there it is. Running in single user mode. Okay. Uh-huh. So, right, I wanted to detect and have I wanted to detect and kind of give you the ability to turn on single user mode. So I am in single user mode. Yeah, there we go. Over here. No, I have it running in Chrome. So I am getting into these, right? And at this point, nothing's configured. So to improve the startup experience, right? First off, I think it's time to remove the YouTube chat entry here because there's a different configuration and a dramatic improvement that I need to do to this because quite frankly, YouTube chat doesn't work very well. Hey Eric, hello. Yeah, some of the messages from YouTube, most of the messages from YouTube aren't going across to Twitch. See, and that strikes me as Restream's having the same problem that we're having with capturing YouTube messages. Yeah, I don't even think we added it. Yeah, we didn't even add that page. I'm gonna yank it from the menu here, because we're not even using it right now. So let's go. That's in components, admin, shared, admin nav menu. There it is, YouTube chat. Oh, darn it. Yeah, undo. Got to put it in insert mode, right? And we'll put there so that that's all updated. And now if I alt tab over, yeah, YouTube chat's gone. Cool. So, right, because I don't have a configuration for that yet. There we go. It should have saved that configuration. Why is this coming up? So, let's see. Right, so there's an app settings JSON. Yeah, it's in there. But is it failing over because of this? Yeah, I know. That's not a real JSON file then. Yeah, I know. Is it \n that gets me in the nursery? Yeah, that is to get me into the focus over there. So now if I go back over here and if I refresh, I think I need to actually restart. So restart. There we go. Let's see what we get. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So it is picking up and rolling over properly. I am an admin. Well, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. Customization. So if I do try and rename this, right? To C# with C# Fritz. Yeah, see that. Look, the header, the JavaScript here. This isn't going to work at all because the JavaScript for the waterfall header didn't even come in. C# with C# Fritz. And it's not clear if this is saving or not. Right? Look at the errors I'm getting. No, put me on the console. WebSocket connection failed. Yeah, but did it save it? It did. So I could use a little bit of a message to indicate save succeeded, that kind of thing. App settings development overrides app settings in dev. Yeah, Thai TV, you're right. You're right. So, right, and go ahead, chat room, do your worst, right? And there is no indicator that it's saved properly. But if I go over to the waterfall view, yeah. So that works. Okay. So when we think about configuration, this single user mode to the point that Badger had. I did no to the point Badger had of making it easier to log in and kind of recognize and nudge people along. I think the ability to turn on single user mode is something that is a one-way switch. When you're doing the initial configuration of the application, by default, we turn on single user mode. When you're ready, you can flip a switch that says go to multi-user mode with user logins, and the first login is admin. But you have to turn it on. You have to enable it. And at that point, right, all the chaos happens. What do you think? Does that sound reasonable? Because when we put this into a local application that runs on Windows, right? And I'm particularly thinking about some of our streaming friends that are interested in using Tags app functionality. Imperial, if she's interested in seeing a little bit about this. 9.5 is interested in checking this out. LA Face, Joystick Nick, they're always interested in seeing new ways that we can integrate and do more stuff with chat. I think those are big lifts that we can put in there. Our friend Junie Von Esch is going to help us with some. I'm going to do some updates to my Discord server and hooking up Discord so that you can listen to a channel and share messages into Tags app from that channel. I think is going to be something that'll be a very cool experience that we want to enable any streamer to be able to add to their Tags app experience. But those are secondary, right? I think we need to consider that startup experience. So maybe my user screen. First off, I can go back to the home screen now, and I think I can remove "You're an admin named Fu Magoo." I think I can remove that, right? So I'll jump back here, and that's in the page the home page. There we go. Right. This block right here. Do I just comment it out or do I move it into a component? Like, I could move it into a component pretty easy, right? You believe that'd be a solid workflow, Badger? Okay. Okay. No, you know what? Just delete it. Just delete it. And we should put some initial documentation or welcome stuff because the home screen is just it's boring, it's lame at this point. Right? There we go. It's already cleaned up. It's already removed and cleaned up for us there. Oh my gosh. Blazor Mr. Magoo. Speaking of Magoo.
Blazor Mr. Magoo just resubscribed for 69 months.
69 months. Thank you so much. Nice. Thank you so much. And I'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. Yeah, look at that. Good to see you. So let me see, where was it? I'm going to go look for Foo as the name. So yeah, let's get rid of that. And let's just say admin user. Yeah. I didn't want to close that. I need so I need somewhere to place a setting that will detect if we're in single user mode and enable that, turn this on and off. Yeah. I think that's the right thing to do here is detect a configuration setting, and by default that configuration setting for single user mode is true. Once you set it to false, there's no going back. But detect that setting here and turn that on. And for users, for developers, now you don't need to go through, you won't have to go through a security setup process to debug and work locally. You'll be able to just create and say, give me a SQLite database. There it is. Maybe even the in-memory database will work. I don't know. Maybe that's the next thing we need to test. Oh Lord. I need to figure out, I need to go into configuration now, which is in its whole other place, right? Configure tags app. And system settings are going to be over there somewhere. And I don't remember how to do that, how we built that. So let's go up a directory. Is it down in here? See, oh man, all this configuration stuff is being shipped into WebAssembly too. I don't like that. Let me take that as a bug. Let me take that as a bug while I'm here so that I remember it. Bug should not ship tags app common to WebAssembly. And if somebody wants to unwind that, be my guest. So it's not that bad an issue to address, but there's just a little bit of rewinding, unwinding, and migration code that is going to need to be written to handle that. Yeah. So, okay. I don't need this. I was trying to keep an eye on any tweets mentioning us. It's just that, okay, good. So, all right. Back over to, so I forget where the system I forget where the configuration is. Oh yeah, that's fine. Security, storage, no. Let's go into the user interface and see how it does it. When in doubt, how did we build that thing? Yeah, let's look in this one. There's the Markdown editor, admin layout, application configuration. Application configuration. There's that. I forget where that is. Application. No, doesn't find it. So, no. Source. It's not a component. See, I can't Control T and go find it. Right? I suppose I could go over here. Let's go. Oh man, wrong key. I could do. Want to do an ls and search for something, right? How do I do an ls and search for something in child folders? Can I do a find application configuration .cs? No. Fine. I'm going to cheat because I can search easily over here and I don't remember the commands to search. Application configuration. It is in common models. Common models. There we go. Right. So what do we got? Site name, config key, waterfall CSS. Yeah. So this is registered and shared and sent around. YouTube chat is delayed. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. No, it's not. I have YouTube chat up on another screen as well, so I can see it. All right, so let's add private bool single user mode equals true by default. So I'll put it before site name because I do like to keep these a little bit organized by alphabetically. Public bool single user mode, right? Get is just going to be single user mode. And for set, right, there we go. Close all that off. Wonderful. And that's just doing a, that doesn't make sense. Load from configuration, save configuration. Okay. Well, here I want to, if it's set to false, don't do anything, right? If not single user mode, no, actually, if no, I was right. If not single user mode, single user mode equals value. So you can only set single user mode if it's currently... No, I was right. You can only set it if it's enabled. You can only change it if it's enabled, right? So that just wrote application configuration. So the next time it loads application configuration, I don't want you to hot reload. Yeah, it's alt that I can... I remember that now. I'll restart it so that it identifies and brings in single user configuration. So now I can go back to grep query file.ext, file.extension. Okay. grep will just search for files. I know, IntelliSense. Ooh. So back over here. Okay. So jump back into Vim and let's open the tree here and let's go back to home. Right? Pages, home. So if I inject application configuration, and I'll just call it app config. Currently running in and let's say app config single user mode. Single user mode, multi-user mode. And I should probably put a paragraph around that. Kaboom. Okay. No. I thought we injected application configuration. Give me another tab. And where was it? Right? Hey, look, I've got multiple Vims now. Tags. Blazor. And I'm going to Vim components, pages, admin, add. No? Okay. Cool. Pages. Show me something here. Sure. UI customization. Hey there. James Q. Quick. Hello. How you doing there, friend? Did I make any changes to my Vim RC? Asks Jag Xterra. No. My Vim RC that you see in my .files repository is the same one that I have been using. How you doing, James? Thank you so much for the follow. IntelliSense is a wonderful thing. Now, Copilot is not faster. It is not a faster version of IntelliSense. Copilot suggests all kinds of things for you instead of just, hey, show me the options that are available on the thing that I'm using. Let me come back to that digital dummy. Inject application configuration right there. Right? Like, that's a thing. It's right there. Right? Look at me. Look at me. I'm remembering how to do copy paste. Inject application configuration, right? Right, so no. Wait a sec. No. Open that and there it is. Application configuration. Yeah. That's totally a thing. Right? App config. Unbiased. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us. totally should have worked. All right, now you're telling me that you can't run. It says it's running. It says it's running. There it is. Hey, there we go. Fantastic. It did pick it up. Running in single user mode. Okay. So now I can do things like I can make decisions on things like if I know you're running in single user mode, I don't need to show the account management pages. You don't need to go down into that. Right? So that's a useful decision that we can make here. On Twitch, Juan Van says IntelliSense it gives you all the choices. IntelliSense gives you all the choices based on the object you're working on. It's literally showing you, here's all the things you can do. Why didn't it show the hat?
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
There you go. The AI at 77% certainty says, it's my Nintendo Entertainment System controller hat. Look at that. Look at that. I'm an old school gamer like that. So Juan Van, when I'm trying to complete typing something, right? App config dot, right? Let me go back over to that code, right? I'm right here and I type dot tab. I'm asking for auto completion of this object. I start typing a method name parentheses. I want auto completion of that. I don't want Copilot to suggest to me the things that I'm working on. Right? I kind of know I'm kind of at a space there where I'm like, I'm working on this. I need a little bit of help with this. Give me a gesture in that IntelliSense window to request the Copilot completion at that point. Right? And having IntelliCode and IntelliSense, right? Because IntelliCode is a layer on top of IntelliSense that suggests some of the common things that you might want to use at that point. But between IntelliSense and IntelliCode, give me a way to prefer that and not have Copilot suggest when I'm in the middle of writing code because it blocks and turns off some of those things where I do want code completion because I'm typing toString. I don't need Copilot to tell me toString. IntelliSense is already going to do that for me, and it runs locally. So just complete it. There we go. So, thank you. I do think it's a nice hat as well. My goodness, is it? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm going to call it. Is it Stite? Learning some ingestion in Azure through blob storage in Python. When I ingest, its status is queued. Anything you know? I have no idea what you've written and what you're working on there. I'm sorry. I have no context for that. For you're ingesting what with Python? Like you're already kind of outside my wheelhouse here. But we don't have ingestion capabilities that are delivered automatically for folks. So I don't quite know what application you're referring to and you're using. Because that's not something that's native to Azure. So, all right, where was I? So now that I know and I can report that you're running in single user mode, right? So let me go to the layout and in the header here, right? No. There we go. I do have app configuration. Okay. So the waterfall, the moderation, and then it's in login view. Well, I don't even need to show login view if we're in single user mode. So let's wrap that. If application configuration, did I call it app configuration? App configuration. Okay. So app configuration. I don't. That's awful. Dot single user mode. And actually, it should be a not. Right? And I'll just close that. Oh, you're not going to automatically tab it over for me? How dare I think that it would actually, you know, do something that a modern editor would do. Where'd the rest of my UI go? My admin stuff is gone here. Oh no. Oh, because they're in the login view. All right, fine. So let's go back into login view. Where's login view? Authorized for admin, you know. Authorized to show the login, logout button and the register button. Okay. So let's put it. Is app configuration here? No. Do I still have it? Yes. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's like I'm a real developer. I'm just going to call it app config because I'm lazy. Right here around this authorized view where it puts the login, logout buttons. So if we're in, app config, if not app config, single user mode. All right. Yeah. No. Restart that. Hey there, Speedy. Good to see you. You missed Red Shirt presentation, says Coding Gorilla. You're referring to Scott Guthrie. What do you miss about his presentations? There we go. So now I just have admin. Moderation isn't turned on. So the moderation UI doesn't come on, but just system administration. Maybe it shouldn't say just admin here. Maybe it should say system administration. You know? And there is a ticket about there is a ticket out there about doing some localization on this. So, all right. Let's say system admin. That's better. Yeah. Title equals system configuration and administration features. No, don't quit. Don't. It probably wouldn't have quit, but there we go. Now I've got a little tooltip. Fantastic. Hey, Raj. Setting up a little bit of the initial startup capabilities, improving those so that it becomes a little bit clearer on how to get things started. So when you first start up the application, you're in single user mode. And well, now I can go back. Right, I can turn on, and I'm running as an admin here. Let me go over to users. I can, right, I'm going to end up updating this screen to allow you to turn on and off multi-user mode. When we're in single user mode, there's no reason to show user roles here, right? So that page is admin users. So admin users, there we go. Can I? Yeah. Oh, nuts. No. Delete to the end of the line. App config. So this table, and I feel like we should probably use quick grid here at some point. That'd be nice. Right? That'd be kind of nice. If somebody wants to build that, that'd be a fine enhancement. Replace users table on admin users.razor with Blazor quick grid. That'd be fun to do, and something that it's not a bad first issue either. So if somebody wants to do that, you're welcome to download the source code, check it out, and update. Send that along. I'm not going to do it right now here on screen, but hey. So if app config single user mode, div, you're in single user mode, and we'll figure out what else to put in there. And if you aren't, yeah. See, that's weird. That's just weird that sometimes that hot reload does not catch properly. Here we go. So, Raj, this is minimal March. This is a month where I spend the entire month coding .NET at the command line to show you that it can be done. You can be productive. You can still deliver value. There you go. You're in single user mode. And we should add some sort of a toggle here so that you can flip over to multi-user mode and then activate all of those features. I think I can remove the entry here on the home page, right? We don't need that anymore. Pages, home, right? And I'm going to go back to users. There we go. Right. And we'll add some content in here for that. There you go. And once we turn on multi-user mode, you know what? Let's also move this entry here. You are an admin onto this page with the user roles and have that always appear. You know? So that's on admin index. Yeah, that's so. No, you know what? I don't like any of this. Because you're in an admin screen. You don't have access to that stuff. Like, duh. You're in single user mode and the home screen. Yeah. Okay, so now I want to add a little bit of a toggle button to allow you to turn on multi-user mode. On Twitch, Cold Metal asks, what back-end data will I hit? What do you mean by back-end data? Give me a little bit more context there on your question. Right now, the local users that it configures runs as inside of a Postgres or SQLite database. SQLite intended for if you're building and running a local instance. So this will be used extensively for when we turn this into a native application for Windows and Mac. So I don't think folks will be doing multi-user mode with it as a local application. That's just not going to be a thing. But when you are running it on a web server somewhere, you're running it on your Synology, you're running on a Raspberry Pi even. Postgres is available as a database to store and retrieve data from. So that's absolutely a thing that you can use. Yeah. Do I have a user interface for a toggle switch? Do I have one baked into this user interface somewhere? I don't remember. Okay, cool. So, let's see here. How am I doing on time? Yeah, we're pretty good. Yeah, so I want to add a toggle switch, and I should probably add. Nope. Close that. Right here. This is interactive server. So it assigns roles and opens the manage roles user interface for that. Okay. So if I add a toggle switch and you click the toggle switch, we want to put up a confirmation. Are you sure you want to do this? Put a warning here as well. Danger text. Converting to multi-user mode is a one-way operation that cannot be reversed. You will need to create a user and log in with that user immediately to be granted admin access. After that, you can add more users with various roles. Put the proper spacing in there. Not create a user. Register as a new user. Now I told it to make it danger text, and why didn't I pick up? Right, what's the bootstrap? I thought it was danger text. Bootstrap danger text, right? text dash danger, but I want to have it on that background color, right? So it's like an alert, right? Danger alert right there. Yeah, how do I do that? Dot alert dash danger? Alert dash danger. Role equals alert. All right, fine. Right, so right here, alert dash danger, role equals alert. That's better. So label 4 equals set as. Do I need a label or do I just put a button? I could just put a button, right? Convert to multi-user mode. How about just convert user mode, right? Change to multi-user mode. It's going to be upset about that because there is no convert user mode method yet. I'm hitting page down and it's not going down. Private async task, change user mode, return task dots completed. Come here, you. All right, that should have restarted successfully or not. Oh, it's completed task. See that? Look. Is async and returns task? No. Mm-hmm. Convert user. Oh, man. No. There we go. All right, so now I've got a button that you can click that'll actually do the thing. But before I proceed and actually do anything with it, I want to put up a JavaScript alert that says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I'll basically reach into app configuration and touch that setting, right? This is easy. I can do this. Oh, and go back to the Bootstrap docs for a second, right? Let's make it look like a proper button. Button type equals button. And let's make it button danger, right? What are the page up, page down buttons in Vim? I forget. Type equals button, class equals btn danger, right? That's a lot of red. Not gonna lie. Let's do it as primary alert. For that alert. That's better. I think that's okay. Yeah, what's the Vim page up? Yeah. Control B, Control F. Or Control U, Control D. Really? No. Well, what's... Whatever. Control U and Control D. I can live with that. Okay, so... Do I have the... I don't have the JavaScript. Let's inject that. So I've had questions about, hey, are you going to use IJS interop? And I'll just call it JS. There we go. So I want to run JavaScript interop to fire an alert on screen. So let's do accepted equals, and we're going to do invoke void async, right? Alert. Are you sure you would like? Oh, it's not invoke void because I'm returning a boolean. No, I use upper J lower S nerd herder. But I am going to be returning a value, so it's not invoke void. Yeah. To convert to multi-user mode. This is a one-way operation and cannot be reversed. That should be a question mark. Console. The value was the accepted value. I do need an await on that. You're right. But I think, right, it's JS interop, right? For the... What's the JavaScript interop? Blazor JavaScript interop. I forget the interface. You're right. It should be confirmed. Thank you. You're right. I'll correct that. JS import, JS export. No. JS interop. Capital J, capital S, capital I. IJS runtime. And invoke async. We can specify the value that we're returning. No, 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 no. Yeah. It's been that long since I've used JavaScript interop. Right? That I forget what it is. And it should be not alert, but yes. Confirm, and that's returning a Boolean. IJS runtime. Okay. Okay. It didn't do anything. Oh no. What have we done? Object reference net set to an instance of an object. Users Razor line 61. And now this. No, we're not doing anything. What's with that? No interop methods are registered for renderer 1. IJS runtime you've used? Yeah. I'm not familiar with the Claudia extension. Convert user mode. JS invoke async. Confirm. Like, that's totally the thing. Yeah. That's a thing. That's totally a thing. There it is rebuilding. Yeah. And boom. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. On line 61 when it's trying to figure out current user. Okay, so go back here. Okay, back to users. And that's pretty much going to toast anything that I want to do here. No interop methods are registered. Oh no. All right, so hang on. So you're telling me that HTTP, well, actually, it's not going to be there because it's a cascading parameter. So that needs to be on parameter set, not on initialized. Right, because it's a yes. it's a cascading parameter, so I can't activate and check and use that at initialization time because it hasn't been set yet. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Well, actually, it's not going to be set to an instance of an object because I'm in single user mode as well. Right? So I can actually skip out of this entirely. If app config single user mode. What the? Right. Return. Back up to here. Rebuild that, John. Rebuild that, John. Let me take a look at that again. See what we got. But the next things that we want to look at. There we go. And now when I try that, there we go. There's my alert. My confirm. Are you sure you'd like to convert to multi-user mode? This is a one-way operation. Cannot be reversed. And if I say cancel, accepted value is false. If I say OK, it did properly return true. All right. So I'm using the default kind of ugly JavaScript confirmation box. That's fine. But now I can go back into my code here and actually write that method to update the configuration. And how do I update the configuration? Give me another one of those pages. Like UI customization. Right? Control down. There it is. Application configuration. Right? Yeah, I want all that, John, right there. And so delete that. I don't need to return, but I can say if accepted, right? And here I'm going to insert, ba-boom. And I called this app config. Yeah. At which point I want to navigate you to the registration page. Right? Let's see what happens. Okay, it says hot reload succeeded, so back over here. Just to be safe, I'll hard refresh. Change. Yes. And it did something, but I know not what. No. Oh, I never changed the setting. You gotta actually, you know, change the thing. App config dot single user mode equals true. I should do a hard refresh after that. Like, that's going to be a thing. Yeah, look at this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, restart it. Cool. Click that. Yes, do it. And I have no idea if it actually did anything. So a hard refresh. No, it didn't. Why you do this? Where'd it go? Now I don't have a debugger here because I'm working at the command line. False. Oh, you're right. Duh. Thank you. Hot reload succeeded. All right, do it then. There we go. So it flipped over to roles user management, but I should do a hard refresh, and now I'm in as the right because I still have stuff in program configured that says inject. You are the system user. When you convert, I should log you out. No, it's setting that configuration for you every time. I need to restart the app is what I need to do when you flip that. And when I restart the app, it's going to throw you out. All of a sudden, Teams opened and restarted itself on my other machine. Microsoft corporate admin, folks. Let's go over here and let's go to. It's like in the first user experience. Yeah, here we go. There's a bit in here where it triggers the restart of the application. There it is, program.restart. And then navigation manager, navigate to the home page. So I should do both of those. No, that's not it. Yeah, I want. See, that stinks. No. I guess I just kind of have to remember that. All right, whatever. Go back to this one. Did I await that? No. Navigation manager, right? Yeah, navigation manager, navigate to. Nope, don't need that. It's down. There we go. I'm lost. No, I wanted to append the end of the line. There we go. Navigate to there. So when you set it, we're going to change the configuration and we're going to throw you out and get you back onto right the base page. So how do I persist saved configuration filer DB? How do we protect it from redeployment? So the location of your configuration is saved in app config. Right now, there are 3 places you can save it. A Postgres database, so you provide a Postgres database connection string. SQLite database, it generates a default SQLite connection string that's a local file. Or it's running in memory and it's just running in memory. And next time you restart the application, it'll just forget everything. There's absolutely a desire to store configuration in Key Vault in other locations. It's just not a priority to build that yet. It's an extensible model with interfaces so that you can specify different places to store that stuff. Just needs to be built. Just needs to be built. And if there is demand for it, we'll go for it. Coding Gorilla says, no IntelliSense, no debugger. What is this, 1995? Yes. Yes, it is. There we go. All right. I'm juggling 3 machines here, so it's been fun. All right, so let's really nuke this then, and tell it to restart. So I'm gonna. Yep, that just closed the browser, just nuked the whole thing, and I'm gonna remove TagsAppDB so that it restarts itself. Like it goes back into first boot up mode and prompts and says, oh, we need to configure because I don't have any configuration stuffs. So I'm effectively forcing a restart of brand new install here. And that didn't work. Probably because it just generated that file on disk, didn't it? Didn't it? It did. You dirtball. Fine. This one. Right. See, there's the app configuration. Which, for the website, when you're configuring it locally, I'm okay with updating these. It's probably going to be a little bit of a pain in the neck when you deploy to something like app service and you're running inside of a container. You probably don't want to write into this file. Sure, leave that open. I don't care. I don't care. Back over here. I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to restart the application. And we'll watch this recycle here. There it is. First start configuration. It doesn't know where we're writing anything. So we're going to write to SQLite. And it's going to put us into single user mode. I should have some sort of a spinner or something before that one pops up. It says, hey, we're restarting here. There we go. So now I'm in single user mode. So you're in single user mode. Yes. Change to multi-user mode. Yes, please do that. And I should get that same restart experience happening here. There it is. And now I'm back over here, and I didn't put in the check into program yet. All right, let's go do that. That one. No, I want to be over here. No. Where'd it go? Am I getting application configuration here somewhere? There it is, app config. So we do have it. These configuration things right here should probably move out to their own method. But it's app config. Make sure I get that right. Lower A, capital C. Here. If app config dot single user mode. Right? And I'll jump back. Come on. Restarted. There we go. Now it forced me out. Let's go nuke the database file again. No. RM source tags app Blazor tags app database. Restart the application. Let's see it start up. So this should also help Space Shot, some of the work that you and Rich are doing to help get a good startup experience for folks that want to work in code spaces. It's still an app config. Oh, darn it. I forgot to remove it from there. How do I reload that file? Like, do I just have to go... Yeah. Right. And so now down here, remove the file, reload. So now it doesn't have any configuration. It doesn't have it. You were being stubborn and working on getting Twitch working. Let's talk about that next. Okay, so SQLite. Advanced basically allows you to configure multiple locations for things. So basic sets the same value for everything. So we'll save this, and it should restart and be in single user mode. You can customize this reload user interface, and I do want to do that. So now users, I'm in single user mode, convert, yes. At this point, I should put up some sort of a spinner on this before the other one comes up like that. Right? Go ahead and reload, and I'm on the home page, and I can register, and I'm in multi-user mode now. Terrific. That's exactly the kinds of things that we wanted to get working here. Yeah. Nuke the database. Restart. So it'll put me back into single user mode and all the configuration cleared out with a fresh SQLite database file that we can work with. Yeah. So there we are. Key not found in keyring, right? Because I nuked it, so it just rebooted itself, right? So I'll even restart the restart. Let's commit some changes. What do you say? What do you say about that? That would be fun. Yeah. So app settings development, app settings JSON. I don't think I want to add either of those. So let's git add source tags app Blazor. Let's add everything in the components folder we updated. Let's add the updates to program that we updated and application configuration. Tags app common. I don't even need to finish that one. So I'm not updating app settings. I'm not updating those pages. It should ignore the .swps, I think, right? Like, no, thank you. Ignore Vim swap files. Yeah, there we go. Added single user mode configuration at startup. I think that was a pretty good feature, and we've been talking to Badger about that, and I think we got a number of those capabilities now built, delivered, and yeah, feeling good about that. Should the connection strings live somewhere else since app settings JSON is in source control? The configuration of the application does live somewhere else, right? And that's what we've done here. Is it's in that SQLite database, right? I'm going to use Visual Studio Code because I have a SQLite browser in here so we can look at it. I'm only using it for that, okay? So I am still abiding by the rules of minimal March. Let me see. Right, because I do have... Yeah, I thought I had the SQLite viewer turned on here. So get that installed. It's enabled globally. Great. How do I use it? Looks like... How did you use that? I don't want a standalone web app. I want to use it. Right, so if I go source, here, right, tags appdb, no. SQLite, yeah, open database, there we go. That one. There it is. So there's a system configuration in there, right? And right now there's no value stored. You can go away. Right? So as we start setting values, it'll load up and start doing things. Interestingly, it doesn't have the other app configuration stuff. Right? Like, so if I go to customization, if we give this a name, hey, what's that? Right? Hello chat room, right? Save changes. And there it is. NeoVim ready with a SQLite viewer. Is there one? Is there one? So, right, the connection strings and information to connect to the various providers will end up inside of here. So if I go up to providers, right, none of these are enabled because I'm not searching for anything yet. So I always search for .NET. And Mastodon is up and running, it says. Interesting, it's not loaded the rest of the configuration in the SQLite. So yeah. Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. But there's Mastodon content. And oh yeah, the default X content because it's disabled. Right. So there's a thing over here. Once you start searching, there is a sample tweets collection that'll get added so that you can tinker with it. In order to enable this, though, you need... I should add some information here. You need a paid API access to Twitter. I've fallen into the big voice and radio guy. That's a thing. Hey, Brian. Hello. You know it's Visual Studio. It ends up in the tools menu somewhere, right? It does. Yeah, you're right. K0 Move. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay. I'm not sure where it's sending this data. The .NET Community Stand-Up. Coming up talking about .NET MAUI today. That should be pretty good. There's like 3 of these live streams about .NET MAUI back to back to back to back. So you may want to tune into that. We may raid over to them after this stream. But that actually looks really good. And then, right, all this saved Twitter content from August that I just threw out here to make it easy to find. Just ask Twitter to pay me for being on the... No, won't work like that. Okay. So, hey, Johan.
You have just resubscribed for 62 months.
It's not saving these. And it's probably keeping it in memory. I knew there was going to be a bit of update I needed to do for SQLite if you're using SQLite. And making sure that it applies all of the migrations for all the things. We're probably missing that. Yeah, fine. Go ahead, give me the format. So that actually did a bunch of content formatting. Thank you so much, Johan. 62 months, and I'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. Yeah, look, there it is. There's Mastodon running. So we had some discussion about open telemetry last week, earlier this week. Some of these messages that are coming off of the providers, I was talking to Napalm. These are the kinds of things that we want to get onto a TagZap specific Grafana dashboard and isolated bit of telemetry, so that we can see Mastodon is actively getting content, Twitch chat is actively getting content, and so on and so forth. Clearly, though, it's not applying and standing up the SQLite migrations here. Oh my gosh, Johan with a big cheer.
Jahab cheered 100. Erst woot C# art C# party.
Thank you so much for the cheer. Yeah. Svekos asks, API keys secrets, are they stored as plain text? They are stored as plain text because I do need to decrypt and place them, decrypt and use them with those other services. So to encrypt and decrypt them with an open source application, it doesn't matter. If you, so right, that kind of security, that kind of request that you have right there, Svekos, that's where I want to put that in like a key vault service, right? Or in Active Directory as application configuration items, right? There's a bunch of places where we can have that type of secured storage, and for us as developers, just use an API, go get that key, go store that key, and how they manage it at rest, they do very well. But for a single user configuration of this that's running locally, it's clear text. Who cares? Who cares? You know? And if there was a need to encrypt and do something with that data locally, we can add that feature. But my belief is if you need encryption of that content, we should, instead of trying to encrypt and store locally, push that to a service that does provide those facilities, right? Is there a vault provider that is available as a Docker container that when we get into an Aspire type of configuration, we can just say, well, put it over there in that Docker vault container and just save and manage all of the configuration over there where it's encrypted at rest. Maybe that would be interesting to, right? Is that a thing? I don't know. right? Docker image for some sort of a vault, a secrets vault or something. Docker images for vault. What's vault? Oh no. Okay, fine. What's vault? Like, what is it? Vault is a tool for securely accessing secrets. Fantastic. A secret is anything you want to tightly control access to, such as API keys, password certificates, and more. Terrific. So maybe there's an option at some point to store and use, right? And use Vault instead of the database to manage secrets. And exactly to the point of being able to configure where your secrets go. The there is in first start configuration. Here. No, I had it right. In the advanced configuration, right? Provider and connection string where we'll be storing our content. Storing user accounts. So right now it's a database provider, but right, you may want to say use Active Directory instead for that. But the initial block up here for right where application configuration is right now, it's just Postgres SQLite in memory. So maybe we add another option there that is secure vault, secure HashiCorp vault for configuration. And that's only available when you're in advanced configuration mode. There, right there, I'm very much in the mode of until I need it, don't build it. And if there are folks out there that do want it, that are excited or enthusiastic about some of these features, go for it. I'm not going to hold you back from wanting to contribute or write some of that code. Learn a little bit about how to integrate and build some of those features. Totally, go for it. Eric writes, in testing, I created my own class to hash secrets with a swappable key string, so it was an extra layer of protection. So hashing is one way. So, right, hashing somebody's password, doable, because you, right, then the next time through, they give you a password, you're going to hash their password, see if it matches the hash. But an API key needs to be two-way encrypted so that you can pull back the original clear text value of that API key and use that to access Twitter, Twitch chat, what have you. So, that's the consideration there, right? So where was I? What were we doing? Now that I'm done going through that talk, that bit of discussion. That's a really long, like, I don't want to have to key in all that stuff. Vault documentation, Vault on GitHub. Sure, accept all cookies, be my guest. I don't want to carry all that nonsense. Yeah. No, if that's still on. There we go. Add support for storing Configuration in. Do I already have a setting for this? An issue for this? For Key Vault? Nope. Add support for storing configuration in Azure Key Vault. That's absolutely an enhancement. Sure, somebody can work on that if they'd like. Add support for. I'm not even gonna mention. As a new issue, but it would be nice to support other Vault services like HashiCorp's Vault. There we go. Cool. So that issue's out there. So, are there better alternatives? I don't usually grab top result only from Google, and don't know. And more importantly, Thai TV, not just are there better alternatives, but what are the services that folks want to use? Maybe it's not necessarily better, but what other services would you like to use? Because that's definitely a thing, right? Let's not build for a service that folks aren't using, you know? I'm almost done my coffee, and that's going to be a sad day when that happens. All right, what's next? So the question of getting these saving in the right location is certainly one thing. But as a system admin, there's the question of, well, how do you configure Twitch chat? And right now, where the heck did it get this stuff? No. These values come from creating an application on Twitch. So, hey, Blackstones.
Blackstones _974 just resubscribed for 29 months.
Thank you so much for that resub, and I'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. The way that this is currently defined, you're going to have to create a client ID in secret. When you're going to have to create a client ID in secret when you want to run this with Twitch, which means you are going to have to create an application on Twitch going through their dev console. I don't want to embed my client ID in secret in there for TagsApp. Because that means then that anybody who's using TagsApp is hooked up to my configuration. And I'm potentially then delivering secrets, my secrets for this, into your applications. There's a service for this. Even if I hosted a service somewhere, or there was a service that could deliver my client secret for TagsApp, so that wherever you are, you can dial in and do it. I'm going to come back to that question. I'm shipping a secret key in clear text across the wire. I could encrypt it and then decrypt it when it arrives, but it's still sitting in memory inside of my application on your system. Twitch chat password generator. TwitchApps.com/TMI. TwitchApps.com TMI. I don't wait. I don't. Do I need client ID? Do I need client ID? I do need client ID and client secret because that gets the profile pictures. Right. This absolutely. Yeah. Prompts you to log in, and then it's gonna look. See, there's their client ID on the address bar. And it's redirecting back, and it's asking for scopes of read chat, channel moderate, read whispers. Yeah. Tokens only ever visible to the browser and not to their server. Proxying images. I could, but I would be standing up my own service. I'd be standing up my own service. I mean, and I can output cache that stuff to the nines. Both on my service, right? What else do I fetch from Twitch? Oh, come on. Really? Yeah, I get profile information. Yeah, client ID, client secret. I get your profile pic. When am I seeding profile pics? There's the access token for the application. Right? Yeah. That's getting the access token for the application, not for the chat user. So really, this is getting profile pictures. Yeah. That's about it. So I could route this, right? I could have a simple service that has these set up. And then all I need you to do is log in and get your chat tokens. Hey, look who's here. Hello, Mom. Hello, hello. Good to see you. That's Mom. She's here in Twitch chat. Had a nice dinner with Mom and Dad and my sister and her family last night. Yeah. So, and I'm getting messages. So my daughter has arrived in Minneapolis. She's at the team hotel, and they won't give them hotel rooms. They've been traveling literally all morning. Some kids have been traveling since midnight last night, and they won't give them hotel rooms yet. These kids are exhausted, and they're supposed to go perform at 5:30 p.m. Central. So that's about 6 hours from now. They need a little bit of rest before they can warm up and get on that basketball court. In Ireland, Mother's Day is this Sunday. I didn't know that, Eric. So there was a question from Johan a little bit earlier about when's the next version of Aspire drop. They were reviewing and looking at blog posts and the content that's going to be released. It should be the next week or two. Should be. They try and release it once a month. So the next preview should be in the next week or two. So no specifics. Yep, she arrived. Like I said, they're literally there's 50 college kids in the hotel lobby waiting to crash. So this does feel like a violation of Twitch TOS. It does a little bit. But if I was output caching them and relaying them just to, even if I'm relaying them, see, then I have to manage API keys to get into my own application and secure and constrain that. Yeah. Let's take a look at that Twitch terms of service. Right. What? Okay. Dev Twitch TV. Docs. Yeah, the API. Right, I want to get user profiles. Get user active, block user, get users. So we might be okay on this because there is no extra security needed. You just need to have an access token. And they do make these available, right? Like, if I'm just calling and saying, I need that profile image URL for these users, they're not going to ban me for doing this. They're not going to get on my case for doing this. Okay. And I could certainly add some sort of key mechanism on top of that. But this uses implicit grant flow. So it is passing a client ID. right? APIs, they require users' permission to access resources, use user access tokens. Use this flow if your app does not use a server. For example, use this flow if your app is a client-side JavaScript or mobile app. See implicit grant flow. Meant for apps that don't use a server. Yeah, there's no secret being passed. So it returns their access token. It sends the access token to your redirect URI in the fragment portion. So where it sends you back to, document location hash, and then we can grab that. Yeah, we can do that. So I don't have a problem then handing out, right? The client ID is okay to hand out everywhere. It's the client secret that you have to worry about. But I need the client secret in order to get the user profile pics. So to come back to what Space Shot was struggling with, how do I configure this? We can, right? In this user interface, instead of making you key in all of these things, the 4 entries here can go away, and we can turn into buttons that navigate and interact with Twitch for the chatbot and the OAuth token. We can generate that piece. And the client ID, we can burn into the application. We can embed a tags app specific client ID. And then if we stand up a little app service that output caches the that output caches the addresses of folks' profile pictures when it goes to load them. Piece of cake. We could probably do that with a little bit of minimal API with a output cache. Requires the localhost 5125 host to be consistent across users, setting the config up. Why? The redirect URI. Oh, it needs to be the registered redirect URI. Crap. That's going to need to be... Oh, you don't have me logged in. Ta-da! My console, that's what I want. Yeah. So I can add a handful of URLs to this to have multiples whitelisted. Is it hard coded in the application? Do I have... $45,285 on IIS, $51.25 with HTTP, $71.06 on HTTPS. I can register all three of those. I can register all three of those, and we can clearly say we can detect on that Twitch panel, hey, you're not running at one of the locations. You need. And that user interface is going to be a little dicey to build and reroute through when we have the native app. And right, we may want to bounce the user through our own version of our own version of this page, right? Because in fact, just move it all to this type of page and embed it. Then it doesn't matter where you are or what you're setting up. You're getting your tokens through my hosted lockdown configuration server. And all of the things to get access to Twitch are hosted over there. For Twitch streamers that are activating this, that want to enable this, they bounce off of my version of this site that they log into. It collects their token, pushes it into their instance of Tags app, which may be running as a local application, may be running on a distributed server somewhere, but it captures the token information and pushes it into that automatically. Now we don't need client ID. By moving that out, I don't even need to put a client ID into the application. The only thing that I need to put in then is channel name. Because the token, the chatbot name, client ID and client secret are all being managed and governed by an external service. And I can just run it at twitchconfig.tagsapp.net. I have the domain, right? I can stand up a very small app service that caches the profile pictures, right? We can put that like into a little Redis cache. Pre-fill the channel name with the logged in user's channel. Sure. When we get the information back from my little Twitch config service, right? Oh, you logged into C# Fritz. You logged into C# Fritz. Here's the channel that we think you want to moderate, the C# Fritz channel. Maybe you're like me and you logged in with a bot, a secondary account that you have. There's a bot hanging out in my chat, the Fritz bot. The user interface would prompt and say, oh, do you want to log in? Do you want to moderate the Fritzbot channel? Change that, C# Fritz. When we ran for the Visual Studio channel yesterday, I just cleared out this field and changed it to Visual Studio channel. You just need to be able to read messages in those channels. List active channels? No. Enter your own? No. That's That is too fancy. Not needed. Most folks know exactly what they're looking for. Like, either here's the channel, right? Maybe, right? We can list, here's the chatbot name, right? And here's the channel name that we're running in, right? So the chatbot name is just a label, right? You logged in as this bot. Give the ability to log out or log in as a different bot, different account, and maybe a reset button next to this. Yeah, it was originally built in 2023. Yeah. I mean, we can update that so it says 2024 also, right? Right, it's down here in footer, I think it is, or is it in the layout? Footer. Right. I can do that. Added 2024 to footer. There we go. Fine. Cool. Now I've got my settings there. Oh. No, maximize, man. Is it... no. I wanted... there. And restart. And I definitely want to replace this spinner. Show the time remaining on the token. That's super useful. I can renew the token myself. Right? I can request and renew the token. And in fact, right, I think I do that. Maybe I don't. Get profile pic, get content for hashtag. It's in the repository over here. Right, it calls get profile pic, and if it has it in its in-memory collection, return it. This should really be like an in-memory collection. Right now it's a concurrent dictionary with an expire time on it. Yep, there it goes and gets the access token, and I do not save how long it's been. So where's that called? It goes and gets an access token every time it gets profile pictures. Well, every time it starts up. So get profile pic from Twitch. Oh, yeah, there you go. Seed profile pics, it goes and gets it. Yeah. And it just passes in that one. So if we don't have if we have an access token, it just returns. So yeah, this needs to be enhanced so that it knows how long the access token is available and manage that. I believe the access tokens have really long expiration, though. That's mine. I was over, I think, in Chrome. Right. Does it say how long? Expires in 501-1271. 501-1271. Use the refresh to get a new access token, which is set to, there's an expiry on the refresh token, which is inactive. All access tokens obtained have the same expiry, 4 hours on device code. Yeah, they aren't saying what the default expiration time is. No. That's the same page. Right, you cannot refresh app access tokens. Well, see, the app access tokens look like they take a long time to expire in their samples. But refresh tokens need to be regenerated every 30 days. Or the user disconnects your account. You know, you can go to validate to verify. You must call validate to verify it's still valid. That's for the OAuth session. Yeah. So the token for the chat user. No, it's not a JOT token. Mm-mm. So is that seconds or milliseconds? The expires in. Although you could use expires in value to proactively get a new token before the token expires, you're discouraged because tokens can become invalid for a number of different reasons. Well, yeah, but as it starts winding down and I'm within 5 minutes of when it's going to become invalid, go get a new one. Like, don't go get one all the time. Detect when it becomes invalid. And if it's still valid and it's winding down, go get a new one. If that is seconds, right? Right? So, no, I'm in here. That didn't work. You make me sad. 5215742. That's 5.2 million seconds. That's how many minutes? 86,000 minutes. That's how many hours. That's 60 days, roughly. Yeah, there we go, tool. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, I mean, 2 months. That's not bad at all. But even then, the OAuth tokens, right? We're not for interacting with chat. They've never expired. Receiving that OAuth token, right? They give an access token. They do not give a refresh token. So we need to check if it's still valid. How long is it good for? So let's look at user access tokens. And then there's tokens don't last forever. Token expires, user changes their password, Twitch revokes the token, user disconnect. If the token becomes invalid, API request return 401 unauthorized. Which means I'll have to go back out and force you to log back in. You must call the validate endpoint to verify that it is still valid. Or discover information about the token, such as when it expires, its scopes. Okay, so when I do call validate, OAuth2 validate, with an OAuth header, it does give me an expires in. This is good. So to Johan's point, as the token begins to expire for interacting with chat, I can request that we refresh. How do we refresh? I don't have a refresh token. Can I request a refresh token? To refresh a user access token, send a post to auth token with client ID, client secret, grant type, and the refresh token. But we didn't get a refresh token if we use the implicit grant flow. It just returns the access token. What's the state? Right? I thought state was something that I pass along. Yeah, it's a nonce for cross-site request forgery detection. I don't want to be responsible for storing your refresh token. I don't want to be responsible for storing that in this Twitch config service that we're talking about. Okay. Passing it along means it still touches my server and it appears in the logs and whatnot. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. Okay. If I'm able to provide then, if I'm able to provide an indication, a warning that the Twitch token is expiring within the next X amount of time inside Tags app, I can give you a button then to click and say refresh your token and go through the same process and regenerate a new token, force you to log back in again. That's not terrible, right? Okay, I think we've got some designs and some ideas for how to make the Twitch configuration better, easier, faster. I'm right up against time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back over to the issues here, and this is a little bit of an epic. Create Twitch configuration surface as a standalone app service. We should allow Tags app instances to get the following data from Twitch. OAuth access tokens for chatbots. Profile pictures for Twitch chatters. And the profile pictures, like I said, I think we can probably put those entries into like a Redis cache with like a 24-hour expiration or something. Not even. With like an hour expiration on those, and they just sit out there. They're right. I mean, this is a big feature. Let me finish writing this. This will support a dramatically improved Twitch configuration experience for Tags app in containers and Tags app as a native application. This is a big one. Let's store URLs for Twitch user profile pictures in a Redis cache with 1 hour expiration. Right? That way, as Tags app is running, it'll build up this collection, and when it goes to look up folks, look in the cache first, and if it finds it in there, return that data. Otherwise, go hit Twitch, return the data, and stash it in the cache. Use a implicit code flow like how the Twitch chat password generator page works. this page. We will need to check expiration of access tokens inside of tags app and prompt administrators to refresh their credentials when needed. That's not bad. That's not bad. So, right, that'll allow us to take this one and literally turn it into a login button with a channel name. Yeah. Yeah. Right? And that little service that'll host this is not a lot. Like, we really could do it as a pair of minimal APIs, right? We could probably even do it as I was going to say an Azure container app. We could probably even build it with Aspire. I don't need all the things in Aspire. Maybe. Some good ideas here for this that'll really make this easier. I still think, right, for the typical user that's building and wants to develop, right, being able to just jump in here and say, hey, go search for this hashtag, and it's going to light up and start working with Mastodon immediately, right, means that you've got content immediately here. And it still doesn't, that first load, it doesn't size the cards properly. But, and I feel like right now there's, we should probably have another switch here that says not just enable disabled, but show test tweets. Blue Sky should also work out of the box. It's disabled. You just have to turn it on. So it would be a single endpoint, so it would lean to a serverless function app. Maybe. But Blue Sky just needs to be turned on, so, right? If we just turn it on, right? Refresh the page. No, it's enabled. I told you to enable. Do I need to recycle this, John? Blue Sky might not enable itself when you turn it on. Yeah, it's not saving data to the database right now. And now if we go back over here. And now we'll get Blue Sky content going forward. Bug enabling Blue Sky with the checkbox does not restart the provider. also Blue Sky provider should not run when no tags are being searched, being monitored, right? So I've got a couple of decent bugs here that wouldn't be too bad to go through on a future stream. But none of these are killers. None of these are things that are really going to be a problem. But getting that Twitch service up and running as a little function, standalone, sure, let's do it as a standalone function app with a Redis cache hanging out there that flushes. Gosh, we can probably build that in an hour or two. But I am out of time, and I have a handful of phone calls to make and a handful of people that I need to connect to and have discussions with today. I've just been asked. It's Azure Developers JavaScript Day. And my friends here have said, hey, would you mind sending us a raid over to Azure Developers Day? I think that's a fine idea. They're on the Azure Developers channel. Let me take a quick peek over there. I got to change keyboards. Changing keyboards. Let's see, what do we got here? Over here. And the Maui community stand-up is going on. And there's Azure Developers. Yeah. It's JavaScript Day. They're talking about all kinds of stuff going on. It looks like they're talking about Azure Static Web Apps. Oh my gosh. And our friend Stacy Clouds is over there. Yeah, let's set up a raid and head over to the Azure Developers. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a great stream with you. It is Minimal March. We've been coding at the command line, having a great time working in Vim, working with TeamMux, and getting some nice quality of life improvements. And we just did a little bit of feature design for reducing the footprint of the Twitch configuration inside Tags app. I've got a couple phone calls and things to do. Let me go through and take care of those things. Maybe I'll work on a little bit of that Twitch configuration this evening. I've got a C# in the cards episode that I'm writing. I've got videos that I'm going to start recording about how and why we built Tags app and some of the architecture that goes into it and how some of the code works. Lots of great content coming. And tomorrow morning, I'll be live streaming again tomorrow morning, but I like to play games on Friday mornings now. Tomorrow we'll be playing Overwatch. Same time right here for a couple hours. We'll be having a good time, chatting, having a little bit of balance. Not just writing code, but playing and having a good time. Get ready to say hi to our friends on the Azure Developers channel. It's JavaScript Day over there. They're talking about Azure Static websites, and our friend Stacy Clouds is there. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.